is Josh Blank. I'm a student here at Penn College. I'm a computer security major, currently in my sophomore year. I'm also a presidential student ambassador and a member of the Ultimate Frisbee intramural team that we have here. So how did I get into playing Ultimate? About 3 years ago, I went down to the Wildwood Beach with my friends, and my friend's dad actually was playing in a tournament there. It's called the Wildwood Beach Tournament. It's actually one of the biggest sand tournaments in the world for Ultimate Frisbee. And we were just down there throwing the Frisbee around, just watching some of the games, and it was a great time for me. And I really got into it right when we got home. I bought a Frisbee, and all my friends just went out and started throwing around. And we ended up just finding a league around the area, just got really good, and started playing. Are there any rules to playing Ultimate? This is actually one of my favorite things about the sport. You pretty much just call your own fouls, and you pretty much just distinguish your own rules. There's really no refs or anything until you get to the pro leagues. They just recently added a professional league. It's called the AUDL, and that's the only thing I really know that they use official refs for. But yeah, pretty much if anybody accidentally slaps someone's hand when they're throwing, or there's interference when somebody's going up to catch a disc, you can call your own fouls. Everybody's real cool about it too when I play, because if somebody calls a foul, they're just okay. You can also, if somebody calls something and you don't agree with it, you can contest it, which most of the time just gives the Frisbee back to the opposing team anyway. But say if they were to score a point, they wouldn't have scored that point. So I enjoy that about Ultimate because it's way easier than just having refs calling bad calls. What positions are there for Ultimate, and what do I play? There's really only 3 different kinds of positions for Ultimate. You have your handlers, you have your cutters, and you have your poppers. The handlers act pretty much just like a quarterback, and they stand back there they're the go-to guy for the Frisbee. They're the guys that can throw it long, hit people deep, and they just hit everybody when they're coming in for in cuts. And poppers are what they do. What they do is if we line up in a horizontal stack, and there's 3 handlers back, they pretty much just run in a straight line. They just pop in and pop out if they don't get the Frisbee. So that's why they call them poppers, because they're just popping in and out. And if we're doing a vertical stack, that's when they're cutters. And what they do basically, they do the same thing as poppers, just they don't just cut in and out. Right? What they do is they just stand pretty much just in a line, and the very person and the person in the very back just cuts right to the to the right side, to the left side. They just cut, and if they don't get the Frisbee, they just go right back to the middle and just continue cutting until, we either turn it over or we score a point. Alright, so there are a lot of various ways to throwing a Frisbee. Of course, you have your most common throw, which is your backhand. Anybody who's ever thrown a Frisbee probably always just throws it like this. So you just flick the wrist a little bit and just release. And another throw, which is my favorite throw, and it took me about 3 years to finally perfect it and get it down. It's called the flick. It's just the complete opposite of your backhand. It's just your forehand. And all you do, you just hold the Frisbee like this, and you just pretty much, most people try to use their complete arm for this throw, but it's really all about the wrist. I put all my power into my wrist on my release. And that's my favorite throw, by the way. All right, the next throw, it's called a scuba. I really don't know why, but I recently learned this throw. Pretty much, it's used to just if a guy's defending you straight up instead of to one side of you, you use a scuba to just throw it over his shoulder. And when you're throwing a scuba, it's pretty much throw the Frisbee upside down. It's very similar to a hammer, which I'll be showing you next. Okay, and the final throw that I really like to use, it's called the hammer throw. It's a lot like a scuba, but instead of over someone's shoulder, you're pretty much throwing it right over someone's head. And the key to throwing a hammer, when people are first learning to throw hammers, they just release the disc straight. But what you really got to do is right when you're about to release the Frisbee, you got to put a little tilt in it so it ends up flipping over, and it's just upside down in the air, and it just flies perfectly to wherever you need it to go. All right, so when you're actually playing Frisbee, there's actually a regulation disc you have to use. It can be any brand, but it has to be 175 grams. But my favorite brand is Discraft. It actually, like, it has, like, it says it, like, right up here. You can't see it, though. But there's Discraft and Whammo. Whammo is usually for the players that, like, really don't, like, they just throw around and, like, don't play in leagues that much. But most of the time, if you're playing in a league, you use Discraft. I like Discraft better because underneath the rim of a Whammo, it's actually, like, indented a little bit for your fingers, I guess. But whenever I throw one, I just can't seem to, like, get it to where I want it to go. But with a Discraft, it's more, and for also with the Whammo, like, it has a sharp edge up here. Like, it's not rounded. So if you're throwing it for a while, it can actually, like, you can start getting little cuts in your hands. But with a Discraft, it's rounded up here. There's no, like, indents underneath, like, the inner edge of the disc, and they fly way better, and they're less easy to, like, mess up and, like, get warped. And I've always just liked Discraft way better than Whammo. So being an ultimate Frisbee extraordinaire, I guess, like myself, I probably have about 18 to 20 Frisbees overall, and I'm still planning on getting more because, like, a bunch of them always come with, like, sweet logos. But out of all of them, my favorite Frisbee I got last year from my friend that plays at Bloomsburg. His friend ended up making these Frisbees, and right when I saw it, I knew I had to have it. This Pokeball disc is, like, one of the coolest Frisbees I've ever seen. I got it for, like, 10 bucks, never thrown it. I took it out of the bag today, like, for the first time, and I don't even know how long. But yeah, if I ever was to throw this and, like, mess it up, I'm pretty sure I would just be, like, completely upset. So yeah, you know, you gotta catch them all.